Hey, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a look at a training game that I played on leechess.org. So, I played someone rated about 1950, and I had the black pieces, and this went into the oldest part of my repertoire, the oldest leg, I should say, kind of like the last training game. So d4, knight f6. I think I just prefer to face d4 in general because e4, I play e5, and that's fairly new for me. I used to play d5, the Scandinavian, and well, after d4, knight f6, I get positions that I've been playing for probably almost 5 years. I think it's 5 years in November. So, okay. Bishop f4, it's a London system. d5, knight f3, bishop f5. I like to play this symmetrically. Now, black can try to punish by going an early c4, queen b3. And I'm actually okay with that. I tend to go c6, queen b6. But that didn't happen here. It went e3 and e6. And actually, there's sort of a trap right here. Like, my opponent didn't do this, but if white goes c4, you can actually go bishop takes knight, and after, say, rook takes, you go check. And the point is that the knight can no longer block this diagonal, so we took away the defender of the diagonal. And if white is careless, this can be very dangerous. Like, for example, knight here, and we go knight e4, attacking the pinned piece. And this pretty much wins material. I'll turn the engine on for a second, because I'm not sure what the main move is. Oh yeah, they have to go queen e4 check, but we have knight c6 blocks and defends the bishop. And yeah, it says black is -2 here. So that's a little trap that can happen. And that position, well, I just want to say real quick, after c4 and this thing, yeah, black or white can actually hang on with the move king e2. But that's why I play this line, because okay, maybe black's not winning, but it's not fun to play this move, and I probably know the resulting positions a little bit better than my opponents. Okay, well, let's get back to the game. Bishop here. Okay, so bishop d3 is a little bit unambitious. I mean, this is the attacking bishop for white, the light square bishop. So I usually just take it. I don't mess around. I'm black, so usually the engine gives take it anyway. And now my bishop's, you know, he's not on c8. He got out, so I'm pretty happy with these positions. But my opponent did take with a c-pawn. So that's kind of interesting. I don't normally face that. They almost always play queen takes. And so here, I think I have to be mindful of that, because my opponent now has a 3-2 majority in the center. And I think this pawn structure is actually pretty healthy. You know, white could play here, for example, and if I take, the pawns get fixed, etc., etc. So I went bishop d6. I said, hey, let's trade everything and make a draw. I mean, not totally true. I wouldn't try to draw. But I do think this is objectively a good move. And they generally do go bishop g3 here. And here I thought a little bit, because, okay, normally I'm not quick to take this bishop. But in this case, with these pawns the way it is, I thought, you know, it's really not so easy for white to go queenside with this open c-file. And on the other hand, maybe I can go queenside. So I did take this bishop and allowed the opening of the h-file. So I want to see what the computer said. Being that this is not forced at all, I'm expecting the computer to do something different. Like maybe knight here is a move, or even knight c6. So let's see. I'll go ahead and enable arrows. Yeah, so computer wants to show our cards and go kingside right away. Okay. And after this move, which is typical London stuff. Oh, or after this. Okay, now it takes. Or this. Okay. But I kind of felt that I could play this way. And after bishop takes, oh, it's like only 0.1 difference. So I'm going to go ahead and say that my assessment of this move was correct. Okay, engine back off for now. We only check the engine when we come to a conclusion ourselves. And then we go, hey, is this right? Then I like to check with the engine. That's what improving players do. Okay, in h6, I'm just saying you're never going to play along this diagonal or this file. I mostly play this move because whenever I have positions like this as white, I didn't like it when they played h6. so I played 6 as black. Makes sense, right? Okay, knight comes out, knight here, a3. Yeah, a3 is interesting. I feel like, okay, white's plan basically is they know that I want to play c5. So I think they're going to go b4 and try to stop me from playing c5. They might even go b4 immediately. Kind of want to see what their best move is. Yeah, b4 immediately. I don't think a3 is necessary. But okay, a3. And I went c6. Yeah, and I'm not sure about my move either. My move was just me being flexible. That could be what my opponent was doing as well, because I wasn't sure which way I want to castle yet. On the one hand, if I go kingside, I castle into the open h file, but I don't think white can really go queenside, but he could stay in the center. And on the other hand, if I go queenside, my king's in line with the open c file. So I'd have to spend some extra tempos and play king b8 and maybe rook back to c8 and then this kind of stuff. But so I was kind of keeping my cards to myself, although I didn't know what they were yet either. c6, rook c1. Okay, so my opponent realized they were not going to go queenside, not safely anyway. So they did go ahead and play this move. So, okay, let's see. Here I played a move that I don't normally play, but I want queen a5. So more normal for me is to go queen c7, queen e7, or queen b6. Any of those with the queen. But I thought, you know, after queen b6, b4. And he wants to play that anyway. But queen a5, b4. Like, let's say he goes b4 now. I take the pawn. So it kind of stops b4 and it pins the knight. So I thought this might be, you know, it's a developing move. I'm pinning something. I'm preventing something. What more do you want out of life? Okay, so he went rook c3. So he saw past my idea. He wants to go b4 and stop my c5 ideas. The thing is, though, like, I'm playing flexibly. If he goes b4 and stops c5, I can play for e5. So I think it's important to note that this is not the end of all black's counterplay. I can find something to do with e5 perhaps. So, okay, I went ahead. Finally, I'm like, yeah, he's going to play b5 with tempo against my queen. My queen's going to move back. And he could play a4 and here. And I'm not going to put my king here. Okay, that's clear. So b4. Yeah, and I do kind of want to turn on the engine. Where should I put this queen? I thought, whoops. Oh my gosh. You don't want to do that. Hope you close your eyes. Not that it matters that much. Okay, I went there. Let's see what the computer says. Yeah, definitely that, and knight here. Okay. So now it's time to figure out what my plan is. Turns out queen a5 was maybe not so good. I did kind of allow him to proceed with his plan on the queen side. But on the other hand, it's a little bit double-edged because his king is in the center. And I do have the e5 pawn break. I don't know how effective it is, but maybe if I play e5 and pawn takes, I could play d4. So if I can break things open while that king's in the center, well, that's something. So I went rook c8, queen c2 is played, and I feel like my opponent was playing very quickly. And I don't think this is necessarily bad play, but I do think it's a little bit generic, you know? Like, he's kind of like, oh, I'm going to play, you know, for b5 and play down the c file. Like, I just feel like it's a little bit uncreative to me. Sometimes these plans are still best, however. So I really was striving to figure out a way to mix things up so that he couldn't just, you know, continue with his generic plan. Yeah, because as you can see, we started with 15 minutes. This is a 15-10 game. And my opponent has more time than he started with. And, well, I was keeping up fairly well, which is good for me. I usually don't. Alright, so rook e8. So this is to prepare e5. I needed one more guy to prepare this move. And now he castled. Okay, makes sense. You know, I'm about to maybe open the game up. He should get his king safe. The only downside is that his structure is compromised a little bit with the pawn on g6, but not badly or anything. The main thing it does is weaken the square, at least for now. And then the funny thing is, if he, like, let's say this knight moves away or something, if he ever pushes me away, I take here. So it's kind of annoying. And I do play with this structure as black, so I kind of know how to play against it as well. Okay, and e5. I mean, if I don't create counterplay somehow, white's going to execute their plan and probably win my c-pawn. So, right, because he will take, and take with the rook. And that's probably bad news for me because here, not there, but here. Yeah, this plan will be effective. I've gotten crushed by it before, and I didn't really want that to happen this game. But my rating says 1950 on Lichess, so maybe I learned something in the past year. Okay, e5, pawn takes, knight takes, rook takes, and knight in. Yeah, I was kind of worried about this a little bit, just because the knight does come in with tempo. This is obviously an excellent square for the knight. Excellent, excellent. So white is probably better here slightly, unless my plan that I came up with is better than I thought. I'm going to ask computer. It actually says equal, and it says rook e7 should be played. But I went queen c7, which I would argue is better. Oh, well, on this move, I was planning rook h5. Yeah. here. Well, I thought he can't really do this easily, right? Because I take it. And computer says he could proceed with his plan. And I could stick my knight in. And he could just take it. And it wants to play like this. Yeah, I don't like this for black so much. I don't like this for black so much. So there may be something wrong with my plan, but we're going to find out. All right, so I played not rook e7, but queen e7. Okay, we got to defend this pawn. I defended it with the queen. And I'm kind of keeping this move in reserve. I mean, if you're taking notes, when there's an open H file, you should try to use it. So, okay. I am enjoying a nice glass of red wine while I analyze. I often do. A4. And he wants to play b5. This is his pawn break. And I already got my e5 in, so I only have one pawn break to consider from here. You know what? I guess that's not true. I do have f5. Looks hard to make it work. Probably wouldn't ever work. And I do have h5. But I also have this one. So I have stuff. But I also have one more. A5 is also a thing. But I looked at A5, and even if he takes, I mean, the knight is sufficiently defended. Even if I push here, he's still sufficiently defended. So A5 I don't think works. So A6. Let's stop his plan. Doesn't really cost me anything to do this, so I went ahead and did it. Rook B1. Very determined to get his B5 move in. But like I said, a little bit mechanical, and now D4. So I don't know if he saw this move, but I have plans to mix things up, and that's what this does. D4. Let's see if the computer likes it. Yeah. Okay. Actually, D4 is the best move, and black is pretty much winning. Wow, so it's a little bit stronger than I thought it was. And I kind of want to go back for a second. Let's just computer approve these moves. Computer liked attacking. It says white's better here, plus 1.5. Now it says white's plus 1. Oh, he should go b5 immediately. Yes, using the pin. I did miss this. If b5, I would have had to do something like, yeah. Queen b6 defends here again. But now this, yeah. Yeah, white has an initiative here. I don't like it so much for me. Okay, but instead, knight c5 was probably a mistake because due to the pin, b5 was fine. Wow, it says I could play this now, but it's equal. Queen c7. Here. A6. Oh, it says white should play d4. Yeah, to stop my d4 for one thing. But also it solidifies the knight. And after that, I would have to find some other plan, and I don't think it's so easy. Like after d4, I was planning this, but yeah, maybe b5 right away. Wow. Yeah, it just looks like I'm worse now. Like computer gives plus 1, but like, I don't like this. I would think I was much worse during the game. So I must have some ways to fight back, but yeah, I don't like that at all. Okay. So we're going to turn the engine off and continue. D4. What's the idea? Because I'm not defending this pawn. He can just take it. Well, the idea was rook e2. And the thing about this move is it comes with tempo, but I'm also putting pressure here, and I have a knight ready to jump in. And if the pawn pushes, like I said, I have this kind of stuff. So I think this plan is fairly annoying. I mean, often if your opponent brings all his pieces to the queen side, then it's time to go after the king. So that's kind of the idea here. And besides, these pawns are not impressive, right? So I don't think it would be that hard to win them back. Okay, so he moved his queen. Oh yeah, and here, why didn't I go here? Feels like I could. I think I was worried about something. If this, what does the computer say? Oh, knight e4. This is a resource I actually missed during the game. Just sad because it looks pretty obvious, right? A knight jumping in the center, clogging everything up. Like, I definitely should watch out for that kind of stuff. But I often don't consider interference moves like this. I'm seeing them better, like for me, like my interference moves, but I'm not seeing my opponent's interference moves. Okay, anyway, instead I did go for the computer move. Wow, it's calling for mate in 5. Wow. I did not know it was mate in 5. I saw mating ideas. I didn't know they actually worked. Okay, so if you want to pause your video and find mate in 5, go ahead and do so now. And then we'll continue with the game, but we're definitely going to look at the mate in 5. Okay, so I'm going to leave the engine off for a second because we need to see for ourselves what's going on first. I did play check. Why did I do this? Because takes. The king is forced to kind of a bad square. And then I have this check. And I thought if the king comes up, I defend with h5 and I threaten this. Maybe this is the mate in 5. Because that would be checkmate. So, okay, he goes. Yeah, and I played h5 now. I thought if this... he comes up, and I can't check right away because he takes. And if I go h5 now, maybe he would have some resource. Okay, I just realized there's no resource here. There's nothing. There's nothing at all. This is going to be mate. How do you stop it? If you play here, checkmate. You could play here and give up a rook. You could give up a queen. You could play here. This does nothing. Alright, so that's the mate in 5, you guys. And yeah, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't notice there's no defense to this. I thought white would have some mysterious move. But okay, how bad could h5 be? Okay, check is better. h5, and he has resources now. Yeah, so my h5 move, I thought I was being very precise with this move. Instead, it's a blunder because I didn't see, well, not a blunder, but it's a mistake because this is check and forced mate. h5, this is just unstoppable. Okay, cool. Well, f3 was played, and now that stops knight to g4. So, okay, and but I was planning this rook over. Yeah, I allowed this move. So things are probably a little less clear now, but I wasn't scared just yet. Yeah, computer says black's still winning. Okay. Yeah, I found the best move. I thought knight here is so natural. It does so many nice things for us. We can't go here anymore, so it's not like opportunity cost, you know, like if I go here, I can't play this cool move anymore. So this happened. It attacks a rook, which is also nice. And I saw that my opponent has ideas. Like he could try this move. And like, for example, if he goes here and I take the rook, he has check and then would win this. So, just for example, yeah, I cannot take this. This would be a huge blunder. Yeah, computer agrees. Check here. Yeah, he could do that, but he could also just take this, right? I guess now it's a draw. Yeah, but this is... Yeah, now take it. Oh, take it like this. Even better. Yeah, and now white wins. So we don't want to do that. But for once in my life, I had some time on my clock, so I could actually think about what my opponent might want to do. And I saw that this is a thing. But actually for a long time, I saw that the queen was lined up with my king. So, oh, but I only want to take a tempo for that if I need to. Alright, so knight d6. I knew he was trying this, so like, I can't take the rook. Okay, fine, I won't take it. Rook here. Now I'm attacking the knight. But also, I want to play h5. This is an idea because if takes, I play queen check. That opens the h file again, and the rook's ready to swing to h6. So I felt like this rook e6 move was really strong. Let's see what the computer says. Wow, it says h4 is winning. Really? h4. Oh. Let's look at this for a second. h4. Now, I thought, you know, I thought he would take the rook. But I can play check here. Knight in is the move. Threatening mate. And what's the deal? There must be another threat too. Because, like, why not just defend? Like this, maybe? Okay, now we check. Here. Check. Here. Now we have discoveries. Check. Here. Checkmate. Wow. That's cute. I'm not familiar with this pattern. That was a fun little dance the rook and the queen and the knight did here. So we sacked a rook because we have this. Here and check. Here. Check. Threatening mate. Computer sees the rest. That's why it doesn't defend. And if they defend, we check. This is forced. Check. Notice the square's taken. And if here, checkmate with the queen. So they have to come back and walk into the discovery. And now check. Here, checkmate. And if they go here, well, that's double check. Here, checkmate. Wow, that's cool. Those are the type of patterns I really want to memorize because I didn't see that during the game. And that's why it is helpful to study books like Art of the Checkmate. I noticed that it was shortly after studying that book that I started attacking a lot better and defending better too. Okay, but let's continue. So after f3, rook, knight here. I thought rook e6 was strong. Turns out h5 is way better, but this is still winning. So, you know, It's minus 13, so what do you want from me? Okay, so knight in, and I don't understand this move. This just looks pointless. Because now, well, now I can take this. He's not going to do anything crazy on f7 anymore. Yeah, in fact, I just took with the queen. And here, my opponent resigned, so... Alright, so won this game in 29 moves. And let's go ahead and review really quick the highlights of the game. It's always good to do this and sort of burn the most important ideas into your brain. Okay, it was a London system. I decided to take early this game, but play against this structure later. I'm not sure about queen a5. Let's see what the computer says. It says castle. Yeah, queen a5. Oh, it does say it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Okay, rook up. Yeah, my opponent just sort of played mechanically here. He probably plays the same play in every single game. But I don't think that's how chess should be played. I think you should think about your different plans and find the best one. Not just automatically go for the most obvious plan. Okay, and here, this is not a plan I normally play, so I'm happy with this. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm criticizing my opponent a little harshly. It's kind of projection because I have a habit of doing that exact thing myself. So I actively try really hard not to do that. Yeah, this move, okay, I gotta stop missing this idea. My opponent's bringing a knight to the center, disconnecting my queen and rook, threatening this thing. I gotta see moves like this. So when a knight's in the center, well, I've learned this before, but when a knight's in the center, you should always consider where that knight might be going. And here, I didn't consider this move. I was looking over here. Actually, I thought he would take here, but I didn't care. Because if he does, he probably gets checkmated. But he came here. Yeah, and this is a trick. So, I mean, here I could fall for this and lose the game, but luckily I did see this. And probably this is my biggest disappointment of the game, is that I didn't know that I could checkmate easily here. Twice. This is the second time. The other one was, this move, h5. h5 is a mistake because check. Here, now h5. And the difference is that if you do h5 first, and these move order things are often very important. If I do h5 first, white can stop knight g4 with the move f3. And now instead of mate and 4 or whatever, it's -5 for black. It's still winning, I'm not going to complain, but if this is a different game, this could be the difference between winning and drawing, or winning and losing. So this is important that I get the move orders right. And why didn't I get it right? I failed to see that there's a mating pattern here. I saw the mate, but I didn't see that it was forced. Like after this, I thought, oh, he's attacking my knight, so I can't do this. But what I really should have saw is that after h5, there's no escape from the h-file. This king is trapped. White has nothing. They can't go here. They can't go here. They can't go here. They can't do this anymore. They can't do this. Nothing stops this move. So, okay. And we already looked at that other pretty pattern twice, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed the game. I know that this is Road to 1900, but that's because I think it's easier to get 1900 on Lichess than it is in real games, or real tournament games. In fact, I think there might be a 200 rating point deficit. So my road to 1900 means I'm not going to call it the next level until I reach 1900 USCF. But also, there's no tournaments due to coronavirus. So I'm sort of being patient, but improving my chess in the meantime. Pretty confident that when I do get back to chess tournaments, I'll be ready to move up. So I hope you guys will stay with me on my journey. Ultimately, I'd like to get the IM title. It's kind of pie in the sky, but I mean, I'm 41 years old now, and I started this journey when I was 36. So yeah, it's kind of pie in the sky, but I don't care. I'm going to try and do it anyway. And who knows, maybe I will. So, all right. Hope you enjoyed this, and talk to you later. Bye.